people make decisions. Nowadays in India also it is becoming quite accurate. If there is a cyclone, there was I think 2-3 days before there was a cyclone in Bay of Bengal towards the Chennai side, and people were aware. So people were evacuated from the coastal side and all that. So see, its usefulness, right? Providing convenience to people. That much amount of data you can predict, you can analyze, you can you can foresee what is going to come and take decisions on the basis. In physics, Large Hadron Collider is let me just get the pointer, 30 GB of data. And nowadays, what kind of applications do you get? The other day, one of my friends who is very very fond of astronomy and the stars and the moons and all that, he has installed one app on my on my phone, and through that I can just point it to the sky and the night. I'm sure you, if you have interest, you will also would have seen it, and I can find the name of every star or anything that I see in the sky. Right? How is it that people are able to come up with such accurate information? The position of moon, the position of sun, the position of all the stars, and whatever is there in astronomy. I'm no expert in that. Right? But people are able to gauge, to document and present that kind of information, which becomes useful for you. CERN data center processes 1 GB per day, slightly lesser, but then a lot of medical research here also in India. As far as the medical research is concerned, Tata Institute of Tata Institute of Cancer Research here in Mumbai, in Bangalore, there's a whole lot of research going on in the medical field to find maybe cure for the diseases which are which were uncurable, non-curable till now. Cancer, Alzheimer in US is now. Anything else that anybody would like to share on the chat window? I'll be more than happy to hear you out. I as Ashish bhai was saying in the beginning of the presentation, if it is more interactive, if the session is more interactive, it will be more useful and become interesting also for all of us. Excellent. So yeah, please do go ahead and share anything that you would like on the chat windows for the benefit of everybody. I'm going to keep moving, right? And if I see anything on the chat window over the period of last many years, I have developed this ability to keep one of my eye, or one section of my eye on the chat window. So anything that you'd like to say, I'm going to just put my eye on the chat window and just keep looking at it. So please go ahead and share anything that you'd like that I'm presenting. If you can just go through, there are many links that I've added, as you will see in the slides going forward. If you can go through that today after the session, it is going to be very, very beneficial and useful for you, right? As you will see that in my next example that I'm going to give you right over here. There you are, Google Maps. Yeah, so and then you will see I have this link over here. If you're interested, you go and read more about this particular example that I'm talking about in your in your free time. Right, this traffic signals in electronic city. If you're not from Bangalore, let me tell you, there's a place called as Electronic City in Bangalore, where Infosys and Wipro have started. They have fine-tuned their traffic signals to dynamic signaling technology. I'll tell you what it means. Right, this technology uses Google Maps, the information in Google Maps, and it actually tracks the kind of traffic which is present on those signals, 6 signals. In fact, it has been extended to more. This is something that I prepared in January. Right, and it'll look at the signals. Okay, it'll look at the traffic position, traffic intensity on the signal, and depending upon how dense or light the traffic is, it'll adjust the amount of time you have to stop for the green light. Right. When I read this, since I stay in Electronic City in Bangalore, I actually wanted to go and check it on those Siemens and Infosys signal, and I actually went and checked it at different times, and it actually comes into play. Right, 6 signals, these 6 signals, where if it is during the day, I don't have to stop for more than 15 seconds on the signal, because the traffic is not so much. If it is this is pre-corona times, by the way, January, February this year, when the corona was not so much intense. If you go to these signals at around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning, there'll be the signal you have to wait for at least a minute, right? Without any physical intervention. It adjusts on its own. So that uses the data that is generated by Google. And Google actually gives you certain applications for free, like Google Maps. Behind the scene, the data that it collects is actually, gives a lot of API for a cost commercially. for people to use and implement. And Electronic City LCTA, which is the body which has which manages traffic signals and a lot of other things in Electronic City, has purchased, and they've integrated that into their signaling system. Right. So you can read more about this in in this link here. Let me just go, and I actually just have written the gist over here from that. The technology uses Google Maps to measure volume and speed of the traffic to dynamically regulate the timing on the traffic. You see what I'm saying, right? Due to this implementation, the wait time at these signals have become time specific. Yeah, I'm reading point C. This means that you might have to wait for some time during traffic hours, but not so much in off-peak times. Yeah, exactly what I was saying. I explained it already, so I think reading it is a formality. Right? Read more at that particular link if you want. And if you go to that page in Google, you will see that police departments in US, they use it. In India, still not use it. Police department in US use it to locate the police persons if they are following any fugitive, any criminal, right? So that they'll come to know. Any policeman is hurt, they'll come to know. If they stop getting the signal, they'll come to know about it, right? Google Maps live location. I will talk more about it. So yes, a slightly more intense example I wanted to kind of show you guys over here. From now, please feel free to interrupt me. Take the example of Reliance Jio. Who doesn't know about Reliance Jio, right? And who doesn't know what they have done since 2017? It was, I think, yeah, 17, and they came up with the Jio, the Jio mobile connection. I remember before the Reliance Jio time, I used to pay 100 rupees for 1 GB of mobile data. And with the introduction of Reliance, everything, we all know what has happened, right? You get 1 GB or 2 GB data per day, right? So how has that happened? If you have followed or heard the keynote address by Mr. Mukesh Ambani, who's the chairman of Reliance, when he was introducing Jio in 2017, he used a term. He said, since time immemorial, since my father days, we have been into the business of data. We have been into the business of petroleum products, right? The oil business. But for us, we have realized that data is the new oil. Right. There's a more potential in data, or maybe equal potential in data as of now, as it is in the oil business, right? And that's the reason why we're investing so much money in it, right? So my observation or my thoughts behind it was that at that point of time, how is it that Mr. Mukesh Ambani was able to make that statement? Data is the new oil. He had some thousands of data scientists or big data professionals accumulating data, analyzing data, telecom data, and finding out what are the pain areas. And what he has, one of the things that he realized is that data is something on which companies like Airtel and Vodafone are making money like crazy, right? And it is not that cost. It can be made or provided cheaper, right? And they came up with this analysis, and that's what actually that kind of analysis is more something about something related to data science. And I wouldn't dwell much into that right now. It's a topic for another data science training. But the point is that they were able to come out with that insight, right, by analyzing and storing crazy amount of data, telecom data, and taking calls around. So data is the new oil. That was the statement made by Mr. Mukesh Ambani. And what happened after that? Right? What happened after that? After that, after the introduction of Jio Fiber, there was a market disruption. Everybody brought their price down of everything, right? And they are doing the same thing with Giga Fiber also. Geo Fiber they call it, right? I mean, in Electronic City last year they gave me Giga Fiber for free for 6 months to use it, and it was an impeccable service, right? And after that, in January this year, I took it, right? I took a subscription or whatever that prepaid service is, and I am not sure if in my experience of 1 year, it has gone down even one time, and it's critical for me in my business where I have to give presentation like I'm doing right now. Right, I cannot afford for this. I've had a lot of issues with Airtel for that matter, and these guys would have done their research and come up with a technology which doesn't go down. Right. So same plans with Giga, with same thing they have done with the Geo Fiber. I should actually change the name there. It's not Giga Fiber. Yeah. Geo Fiber, they renamed it, rechristened it as I should say. All right, another one of my very, very favorite example, Netflix. Who doesn't love Netflix, right? Do you know how Netflix started? Has anybody read about it? Netflix in US was a DVD rental service. I have written it down over here, and I've taken it from a link which you can, if you want to learn more information, about these interesting, very very interesting organizations, exciting organizations. You can do that. Yeah, it was a DVD rental service initially. They used to rent DVD. You pay, they will mail or post the DVDs in US. What happened in 2005 was that they realized something. And again, looking at their business data, they realized something. They said there is a potential in combining two things. One is high speed internet availability. 2005, the broadband came into the picture. Gone were the days at that time when you would still use dial-up. Dial-up was slowly becoming history, and people were venturing into broadband connect, high-speed broadband. So this said that people have broadband available. And the second thing is that the need for binge watch of content by the consumer at their own leisure. People want to see. Right now, I met a friend. Over coffee some couple of hours back, while I was taking a break from my training, and he said, hey, you know what, I'd like to binge watch. If something gets very, very interesting, he was telling me about some series on Netflix. He said, if you want to binge, if you like some series, if I like some series, I better finish it, even if I have to spend whole night. Right? We all want to do that, and we all are in the habit of doing that. Right? I myself, guilty of doing that as well. Need for binge watch of content by the customer. So Netflix saw this as an opportunity, looking at the data, high speed internet availability, and the need for binge watch. Right? People like to do that at their own leisure, even if they have to pay a price for it. In TV, there'll be advertisement, and you have to wait, and all those kind of things. Right? So what they did is they came up with a subscription-based streaming service in 2007. Right? While decreasing focus on DVD business. They said that okay, DVD is fine, but then this is what is going to be our potential new business market, right?